The imagination, that's our out. Our imagination teaches us our limits and then how to grow beyond those limits. Our imagination says, listen to me. I am your darkest voice. I am the 4 a.m. voice that wakes you up and says, this is what I'm afraid of. Do not listen to me at your peril. The imagination is the noon voice that sees clearly and says, yes, this is what I want for my life. It's there to sort out the nightmare, to show you the exit from the maze of the nightmare, to transform the nightmare into dreams that become your bedrock. If we do not listen to this voice, it dies. It shrivels. It vanishes. The imagination is not our escape. On the contrary, the imagination is the place that we are all trying to get to. Ugh!
Did your parents always keep giving you animals and things? Like, they thought you looked like you had to be grabbing onto something all the time, or you'd fall over or blow away or something? Well, don't look at me like that. Listen, I can just leave if you don't want to hear this, if you think this is stupid or something. I mean, you asked me a question and now I'm going to answer it whether you like it or not. So my parents kept giving me these animals, see, and not just cats and dogs, but also a pregnant raccoon and 2 ducks named Mickey and a deflowered skunk and this chicken named Arnold and like all kinds of things like that. They were really dumb, not the animals, my parents. Well, you know how dumb they are. And the house we lived in was too close to the road. And what happens when you live too close is that all of your animals are always getting splattered on the road, and your brothers are always having to go out with a shovel to scrape them off and take them someplace to bury. And sometimes, if they're all squashed up but not quite dead, your brother hits them with a shovel until they stop screaming or squawking or whining or meowing, as the case may be, and giving them names makes it worse. But I loved to, and I couldn't help it, and I did. But then when it got splattered, it wasn't just the cat or the duck. It was somebody with a name that you lived with and slept with and talked at and listened to and fussed over and took care of and accepted you. And then it was just this mess that was left on the road. And after the last one, which was a small bow-legged Persian kitten named Clarence, age 6 months, who was sort of dumb and loved me a lot and didn't want any more than to just be alive and play with a piece of string or something. After that last one, I made my stupid parents promise me to never get me another thing that was alive because I had figured out what was true and still is true. That there is no excuse and no way ever to make up for the millions and millions of innocent betrayed, squashed up dead. And nobody's parents and nobody's God was ever going to be able to explain that to me and make it all right. And the only way to not go crazy, if you had the misfortune of being a compulsive namer and lover, was to not hook yourself up with splatterable things, because then it can never be your fault for needing or wanting them. Because if you don't give, you can't hurt, and you don't get guilty because you can't betray if you never gave to begin with. Doesn't that make sense to you? It does make sense. It does.
Yeah, there was something you said at the club that was troubling me. When we were making out, when I was kissing on your neck and all. Yeah, out of nowhere, you said, You said you loved me. Yo, you absolutely said that. You said you loved me. Yeah, I know we just met. So I'm like, what is it that you love about me is all I'm trying to ask. You think I'm good looking and shit, clearly, but this is just the body, you know, that doesn't really count. I can't control that. I'm a nice dude. Nice. I mean, it's nice, but it's such a nothing word, you know. It's like weird. It's filler. So what else do you love about me? The way I dance. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. But it's like an attribute, you know. It's not fully me. So many parts gotta comprise that. So I mean, I guess that is one component, though. Yeah, that's acceptable. I mean, anything else though? Like what little things do you know about me? Like, I watch anime relentlessly. You know, that I squirm when I hear the word application or pedantic. That I clean my keyboard with Q-tips. You know, with the crevices where all the dust gets in there. You know what I'm talking about? Like that place that's so annoying. I clean that. Yeah, you're supposed to know these things before you say something like that. I'm not saying it's not hard to say. You gotta earn it. No. I say all that and all you gotta say is no? No, I only meant that in the moment, you know, with you, I was happy. Felt like the right kind of thing to hear. It was nice. I might love you too.
Blue ink sinks in like a ghost that won't wash off your skin. It still comes back. It still comes back. Bees fight. Bees sting. Watch them die, 'cause you can't do a thing. It all comes back. Where do you go? I don't know. I don't know anymore. There is no before, only now. They scoff, they spit, no parade. All you get is shit when you come back. When you come back. Repeat, replay, each death, each day. There's a guilt that you can't shake away for coming back. Where do you go? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to come back. Come back. Come back. Come
expect you to get it. It's different for you. Your mom is a therapist. Your parents were never married. Your dad buys you weed. Oh, we live in Brooklyn. Everyone is a lesbian. We are at a young adult book club just for lesbians. There are so many of you. There's a whole club just for lesbians who just enjoy young adult fiction. From the late 1980s! Oh, I feel torn in half up there all the time. There's Hare Krishna and vagina piercings, and there's almond butter, and there's global warming and Kickstarters and those little seaweed snacks that taste like the inside of a fish. And I take it all in, because I'm supposed to, because that's where I live. And also, my mother raised me to be agreeable. And the parties are easier if when people talk shit about people down here, I just nod and say totally. But then my skin starts to burn. So in my head, I go away. I just go away. I go back to my parents' dining room and I listen to them lament just what's wrong with this world. And there's a little part of me who agrees. No matter how much I read, how many planetariums I go to, how much Richard Dawkins I read, every time someone says the Bible is just a book of fables, something inside me goes ding, but with fire. I'm of two different minds all the time. I'm just still figuring some stuff out.
We are glad the Dauphin is so pleasant with us. His present and your pains we thank you for. Tell him he hath made a match with such a wrangler that all the courts of France shall be disturbed with chases. And we understand him well, how he comes o'er us with our wilder days, not measuring what use we made of them. But tell the Dauphin I will keep my state, be like a king, and show my sail of greatness when I do rouse me in my throne of France. For I will rise there, with so great a glory, that I will dazzle all the eyes of France, yea, strike the Dauphin blind to look on us. And tell the pleasant prince, this jest of his hath turned his balls to gunstones, and his soul shall stand sore charged for the wasteful vengeance that shall fly with them. For many 1,000 widows shall this his muck of their dear husbands, muck mothers from their sons, muck castles down, and some are yet ungotten and unborn that shall have cause to curse the dolphin's scorn. So, get you hence in peace, and tell the Dauphin his jest will savour but of shallow wit, when thousands weep more than did laugh at it. Convey them with safe conduct. Fare you well.